Hi, good morning.
Hello.
We have. Take a seat wherever you'd like. We have one mic to share because we have one out for the. Yes. So we have one for the public for the questions. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm tired because we did the karaoke last night, but I didn't stay until the end of the cosplay, so I'm not as tired as I could be. So what I thought we would do to start, before we start with questions, I like to play games, and I would like to play Two Truths and a Lie. Are you familiar with Two Truths and a Lie?
I am familiar with Two Truths and a Lie.
Would you like to go first?
You can go first.
I can go first. Oh, see, I'm not ready. I was planning on you going first. Okay. Okay, so let's see. I have worked in 19 different countries. I can speak 6 different languages. And I have been married at least once.
I think the working in countries is true. I think the being married at least once is true, and I think the speaking 6 languages is a lie.
Well done. Bravo. Round of applause. She was very good at the game. It's very hard to work in a lot of different countries and only speak 2 languages. So, yes. All right, so now, no pressure. You have to be ready. Thinking, we'll do the Jeopardy song.
Okay, so I have 4 dogs.
Okay.
I can't cook.
Okay.
And I have 4 wardrobes worth of clothes.
See, that's just playing dirty because, like, the clothes, if I say, oh, yeah, that's true, then it's like misogynist. Because of course you're going to have 4 wardrobes because you're a woman.
Because I'm a woman.
Yeah, and the can't cook must be a lie because you're a woman. Yeah, see, that's a dirty trick. I'm going to say you do seem like the person that has 4 dogs. So I think you have 4 dogs. I think also they're big dogs. You have 4 big dogs, like not like Irish Wolfhound big, but like regular big-sized dogs. 4 big-sized dogs. I think I'm going to be an asshole. I think you can't cook, and I think you do have 4 wardrobes worth of clothes. Am I right?
I do have 4 wardrobes worth of clothes. I can't cook, and I have 3 small dogs. Well done.
Damn it. I did it wrong. Okay. So I just mentioned your death, because of course in Game of Thrones, everybody dies. Yeah. Are you satisfied with your death?
Do you know what? As far as Game of Thrones goes, I think, do you know what? You either have to have a good death or, so at least it was a good death, What
do you think? Good death? Bad death? Like, it was totally sad and brutal, but yes.
It's actually the only Game of Thrones episode to ever have a viewer's discretion is advised at the beginning of it. Considering it's Game of Thrones, I think that's pretty good going.
Well done. How old were you when that shot?
15.
Oh, my God.
It was harder for my poor mother to have to be on set and watch her child get burnt to a crisp.
How did that shoot? I mean, was there fire in front of you, or was that all in post?
Yeah, no. So there was actually real fire. So basically, we filmed in it was a very big quarry in the middle of in the middle of Ireland. It's because I've just had a conversation with someone about Wales, so Wales is in my head. And basically, what they had was obviously the set with the with the stake and everything like that, and they had all the fire sort of at the beginning and at the front. It was fairly close to me. It was probably about where the end of the stage is now, and that's more than far enough away. But what we didn't take into account was the fact that quarries are very windy. But my costume was my costume was fireproof, so they'd made sure that it wasn't a flammable costume. So even though it seemed like it could be flammable, it was very, very safe. But because they had these big fans blowing snow around and it was very windy, as a 15-year-old, I was like, that's getting a bit close now, getting a bit close. But we did actually have we had a word. So if I ever felt uncomfortable or I thought it was getting too close, I can't remember exactly what the word was KFC. Which stands for Kerry, Fried Child, because my real name is Kerry. So that's basically what we said. So if it was too much, it was KFC. But I don't think I actually had to ever use it. But yeah, so we used to code word the scene as KFC because we weren't allowed to talk about it openly because there was only a select few people that knew obviously what was going to happen. So we used to talk about it like, okay, so you're going to go and do this for KFC. And we used to like code word it as KFC so that no one knew what we were talking about.
I love that. I love hearing behind-the-scenes stuff. And I'm going to shift gears a little bit because before Game of Thrones, you did Matilda, the musical, yes?
Yeah, I did. And I actually won an award for Matilda, which is tattooed on my arm.
Oh, that's so cool.
In a little... I don't know if you can come and see it later. But yeah, so I won Best Actress in a Musical, and that's what really kicked off all of my career. Really, I thought I was auditioning for a stage coach kind of thing, because I'd done a show called Oliver before then, but I was outside of London. And what they did was they didn't pay you anything, but it was for kids to get experience in the acting world and in theatre without having to pay any fees or anything. So what they used to do was they used to pick up kids from sort of outside London that didn't have the opportunity to be able to be in central London, and they wouldn't pay you or anything, but you would come in and you would do the Food Glorious Food at the beginning, and then you would do the bows at the end, and they would coach you there and back. And it was basically to get something on your CV, which was a really good program, I think, that they had. So we did a West End show. And then I thought I was auditioning for another one or something like that. And then about 8 auditions in, I said to my mum, I was like, I've been for 8 auditions. And she was like, yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it? So she called them and they went, no, we're seeing her for Matilda. And my mum was like, huh? And then within that 3 days, they called and said, we want her to be Matilda. And I was like, what? What? But yeah, so that's what started the whole thing.
I love that. And so that was, I mean, you must have been, what, 12, 13 at the time?
11.
Oh, my God.
Well, 10, actually. I was 10, but I was 11 by the time the first show started.
And that was a West End?
I turned 11 during the auditioning process. And then I was just about to turn 13 when I left, because I did it just under 2 years. So I was just about to turn 13 when I left, and I was probably the biggest Matilda that they've ever had by the end of that point, because I'd had a growth spurt, and I was just probably the same height as the teacher, as the Miss Honey. So I think by that point they were like, yeah, we love you, but you can't play a 5-year-old anymore.
You got to get out of here. That's cool. And so, I mean, that's a relatively short, jump into something big. And I always like to hear what people think, what is the difference between theater and film? Because it's 2 different kinds of acting. So how would you compare the 2?
It's very, very different. I think with theatre, it feels very unnatural because you have to over-exaggerate everything. And when I started going for my first ever TV and film roles, I was really struggling because they were like, tone it down, tone it down, tone it down. And then I went for a couple of different auditions where I got the same feedback. And then I really, really worked on this one script that I had because they made it very clear that the character was soft and soft-spoken and everything. And so I really, really worked on it. And, as a 12-year-old, it's quite hard to sort of figure out what it is that they mean by that because you don't really know what it is that they're looking for. So I really, really worked on it with my agent, with acting coaches, and that script was Game of Thrones.
Very cool, very cool. We have Janine mit dem Mikro. Falls irgendjemand hat eine Frage für Kerry, Hände hoch und Janine kommt zu euch. Gar keine Fragen? Hard. Okay. Dann machen wir weiter. So speaking of Game of Thrones, your opinion, is or was Game of Thrones the last truly communal TV experience? Like something where like everybody watched it, and Monday morning everybody was at the water cooler talking about it.
Do you know what? I think so. I don't really see many people now doing things like going to the pub to watch an episode together, or having watch parties together. You don't really see that anymore. And I think you're right, actually. Thinking back on it now, I think Game of Thrones was the last one that I have seen people do that. So, I might be wrong. There might be other, TV shows that people do that for. But I think definitely on a public scale, like I remember seeing reaction videos of when my character died and everything like that, of like, 20, 30 people sitting in a room and watching it all together. So I think you're right, actually. I think it was probably one of the last ones that sort of had that kind of community where people all watched it together and stuff.
So then to flip that around, so for a viewer, now with everything is streaming and you have to subscribe to 6 different services to get like all of the shows that you want. And that's kind of what I meant where that question is, back then if you had cable or if you had whatever, you had HBO and you got to see it. But as somebody who's working, all of these new outlets are available. So do you find it, and it's somebody who's younger, and so you're still early in a career, but do you find it different nowadays with working with so many different services as before?
I think it's good because actually there's a bit more opportunity, I think, because all of these streaming platforms, at first it was, they were just sort of streaming other people's work that they'd made, but now they're starting to make their own. You've got Netflix originals, you've got Amazon originals, and Apple TV and everything like that. I think it's created a lot more opportunity for actors because they're starting to branch out, and it's creating more auditions. There's more things that are being filmed and stuff. And I think that if there hadn't have been an unfortunate writer's strike at the same time, I think it would have really have shot up. But I think it's been good that it's come in at the time that it has, because of the writer's strike and everything like that. I think because of that, it's kind of kept the acting industry afloat and alive, if anything. So yeah, it's really, really nice to see. I mean, it does take away that element of community, I think, with, because as you said, if someone had cable or something like that, if you didn't pay for that, you would probably go to your friend's house to watch that kind of show, and it would be something that you would do on a social level. And I think that that's the only element of it that it's probably taken away. But overall, I think it's incredible that you've got all of these streaming services, and it's affordable, and people can watch their favourite shows without having to pay for all of these different things like HBO and stuff like that. But no, I think it's really good, the streaming services and stuff like that now.
I agree. What do you think? Streaming? Yes, no, maybe. Yeah, might as well. So what do we have? We got a little bit of time left. So I want to know a would you rather. There's going to be a would you rather and then a what if or something like that. So would you rather your next big project be another, let's say, big series or big film, or would you rather do a big stage production again?
I think it would be I think I'd like to do TV again, because I think with TV it's that thing of getting to come back and do it again the next year. And I don't think people realise that you get invested into your own character, and you don't know what's going to happen to your character, obviously, unless it's something like that's got a book series or something where you kind of get an idea. But for the most part, you get to learn this character, and you're waiting for the script just as much as you guys are waiting for the next season. And, that kind of element of, excitement waiting for the next season to come out. We have the same thing with the next script coming out, wondering what they've done with the character, what's going to happen and things like that. I would love to do a film because I've never actually really done a film properly, so I would love that. But I think theatre for me, I did theatre when I was very young, and then I went straight into TV and film, so I don't really have too much professional training in theatre. And I think maybe as much as I would really enjoy it, I think I might struggle with it a little bit. I think it might be a bit intense, but I would love to sink my teeth into that if obviously the opportunity became around. But I think now, my favourite thing to do is TV, just because you get that element of, excitement and stuff for the next seasons and whether or not you're coming back and things like that. And it films for longer. You're on the set for longer. The job lasts for a little bit longer. A film can be done in a month, but a series could take you up to 6 months, and you could go to different places, different locations and stuff like that. So I think TV is definitely where my heart is.
Okay, so then pick a series. It can be current, past, or future series that you would give one of your dogs to be in. Like, that's how much you want to do it.
You know what?
No, I take that back. Don't give up your dog.
No, never. Do you know what? I don't think there's a specific TV series, but I would absolutely love to get myself into like a sitcom or something with comedy. I feel like everything that I've done has been very, dark and Game of Thronesy and you're gonna die and things like that. And as much as that's really, really fun, I think doing like a comedy. I did a kids show just after Game of Thrones, actually, that had a little bit of it. It had comedy in it, but not quite to the level of a sitcom. And I had so much fun. I got to, I got to do silly things and fall over things and, be that kind of funny person. And it kind of makes it very lighthearted. And I think I would love to do that in like a sitcom element where everything's just always funny. And, the people that you're with, you're trying not to laugh because they're funny in their delivery and stuff. I think anything I think I'd love to do a sitcom. I think that's something that's on the books to do.
Brilliant. So if you have a pitch for a sitcom, come and see Kerry. Pitch your sitcom. Kerry, thanks for taking the time to talk with us this morning. You've been our first guest. You've been a wonderful guest. Enjoy the rest of your day today, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
I will do. Thank you very much, and thank you guys for listening as well.
Kerry Ingram, ladies and gentlemen.